talking Husky hoops on the Wells Fargo Uconn Women's Basketball Coaches Show. Wells Fargo is an official sponsor of Uconn Women's Basketball. Once again, here's Bob Joyce.
Thanks for joining us. Geno's here live in the Duncan Music Lounge. We have a live studio audience. Place is packed. Want to thank all of our sponsors for taking the time out to come here, and a lot of the guests, too, that won tickets with Rob and Ben on our flagship last week. Before we get to the questions from the audience, one more question here. The Notre Dame game Thursday, it's a rarity that you have a game during the exam break. This doesn't happen very often. How does that change the dynamic of school and putting basketball together with a game actually going on as opposed to just practice?
Nobody goes to school anymore. They just come, practice, get their money, and then they leave. It's just, they're like factory workers, they just punch in. Like my mother and father go home, not just worrying about class and stuff like that. I'm surprised. I'm as surprised as anybody that it used to be back in the day. It was taboo. I mean, like, God forbid you would have a game during exam period. But everything's changed. So there's so many new ways now. I think COVID changed a lot of things. You don't have to be present. You don't have to, be physically present, I should say. You have to be present if you're on Zoom. But there's so many different ways, and I think they raised the number of games you can have a few years ago, but they didn't extend the length of the season. So you have to cram a lot of games in a short period of time because we have to finish a week before the men finish. Right. So that our Big East tournament is over, and then the men's Big East tournament starts. So we have less time to do everything, and it just worked out that way.
All right, let's go to the audience questions. Ben Darnell, my boss from Fox Sports 97.9, who has filled in on both football and men's basketball broadcast with me, is in the audience, roaming around with a microphone.
Coach, we have a loyal fan. Roxanne's been a fan since 1989 of the women's basketball program.
Wow, when Debbie and Megan showed up.
Yep. Wow,
Tremendous.
Absolutely.
Are you going to play Vanderbilt in the next couple years?
Only if Shea wants to. Whenever one of my assistants gets a job, I tell them all the time. I said, listen, obviously you have my number, so whenever you feel like it would be good for you to have us come down there, just let me know, and I'll be happy to do it. Every time we've played, and somebody's, every time we've played away, one of these places where some of our players are from, or whatever, it's generally the biggest crowd that they've had. So, whenever Shea's ready, I'm sure I'll get a phone call, which will mean she thinks she can beat us.
She's doing all right for herself.
They've done an unbelievable job. Yeah, her and Tom are just killing it down there. They really are.
And your old manager, Kevin DeMille's doing all right.
And Kevin, yeah, they all are. And Marissa's having a good year, at Wisconsin. It's not easy coaching today,
Caroline's not with her anymore, is she? Doty?
No. Caroline's not there anymore.
Okay.
Nope.
All right, Ben, what do you got?
Coach, I've been wanting to ask you this personally for a long time now. First of all, congratulations on the new record. I know you don't care about it, but we're very proud of you to be the most winningest coach in basketball history.
Thank you.
I think a lot of us agree. I know Bob said this, Rob said this in our studios last year, may have been your best job that you have done with dealing with all the injuries and just the talent desperation that you had, especially getting back to the Final Four. The Final Four game, to me, top 5 basketball game of my year last year. I'm sorry how it finished. I don't want to talk about the foul or the no foul.
Right.
I've been meaning to ask you the game prep going into that, playing Caitlin Clark in Iowa. Nika Meal, I thought, had a swan song game, her final game of her collegiate career. What was the motivation you gave her for that assignment? What was the assignment? Take me through the preparation of that week, taking on Iowa in the Final Four.
All right. So you have to understand this before I go any deeper into this. Paige and Nika came in together, and Aaliyah. All three of them came in together as freshmen. Okay. And so Paige and Nika really established a really close bond. So you have to understand something about Paige and Nika. They will do exactly what I tell them after they've exhausted all other possibilities. Okay? So when we... Rob, you know, there's players you play with, right? This is how we want to pitch to a guy. Yeah, I'll pitch to him like that after I try to get him out with every other pitch. You know, that's how people think when they're that good, when they think they're that good. So the scouting report or the game plan that we had worked perfectly in the first half. We had a team that's averaging 90 points a game, and they scored 28 points. I mean, how can you go wrong with that? We lost the moment in that first half. We should have been up 15, 20 points in that first half.
Yeah.
The defense that we played was spectacular. And our offense, it was a nightmare sometimes. So we should have been up like 15 or 20 points. Anyway, we weren't. We came out in the second half. I don't know who they talked to after I talked to them at halftime, but whoever they talked to when they got to the court changed the defensive mentality, and it went completely the other way. And you go, well, why? Why would that happen? I don't know. Any of you have daughters? Any of you have 12 daughters? So, yes, going into the game, we knew exactly how we wanted to defend them. We knew exactly how we wanted to defend Caitlin. We knew, you know, what her strengths were, where she wanted to go with the ball, what she wanted to do. And to be honest with you, the other kid, the big kid, running the floor, catching it, she killed us, really.
Hannah was, yeah.
You know, she killed us.
Yeah,
that was.
And Kate made a couple of big
yeah,
shots.
Yeah, they made some big shots, and we, you know, so, you know, I thought we had a great game plan. I thought we had everything figured out, you know, but we couldn't sustain it. We couldn't sustain the game plan. We couldn't sustain it, and that's and it's crazy because that game probably got Nika drafted as high as she got drafted, because she was shocked she was invited to the draft, but that game really made everybody think, oh, I think this kid can play at this high level.
All right, final segment with Geno live here on the radio. Then we'll have a little bit of an after show here in studio, but we'll continue. Last segment coming up here on the Uconn Women's Basketball Coaches Show from Learfield. Stay with us.